Bill, I said, the last time I tried to cut somebody's hair, which was my son's, I almost cut his ear off. Probably not your girl. I was working at Fenton Motors at El Dorado, and I met this guy. He came in as a salesman. You know how these companies, if they're not selling off their old inventory, they bring some people in. They think that a fresh face will probably move some product more than the salesman that's just sitting there, maybe irritated about the old units that they can't move. You know what I mean? It's just a fresh face type deal. And he seemed well to do, very nice, and he was trying to convince me that I could go on the road and make a lot more money selling cars. Okay. So I kind of bought into it because I was at a time in my life. I'm just trying to make more money, just trying to, do what I can do. I decide we book a deal with this guy, and I'm supposed to meet him a certain place. I meet him at his house, and I drive my car there, and this guy takes my car. So I miss the sale, and I can't find the guy. And I am in a trailer house with no windows, a dog that has used the bathroom everywhere. I'm sleeping with a knife underneath my pillow. And I call one of my other friends in the car business that was supposed to be at that sale. And he's like, Gail, what are you doing? I was like, really don't know. I said, I'm supposed to go to this car sale, but I said, this guy has taken my car. He said he's going to be right back. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. Well, I get a knock on the door, and it's the neighbor, and her name's Sue. And she goes, Gail, are you okay? And I'm like, I just need this guy to come back. I said, I need my car. I said, we're supposed to leave for a sale in the morning. I mean, I don't know what's going on. She goes like, did you not know he's a meth head? And I'm like, no, pretty sure I didn't know that. Never saw it, never did it, don't want to do it. I'm just trying to get to that sale and make some money. So she goes, well, I can take you all to the places that he buys his drugs. And I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. So we're rolling around Clarksville, freaking wherever it was, Kentucky, Tennessee. I don't even know at the end of the day. And she's like, no, none of them's around, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, great. So I'm calling Jerry, and I'm like, Jerry, I'm not going to be able to make the sale. So this guy rolls in, and then I call. This is in the morning, early in the morning. So that's when I call my son, Eddie, and I'm like, Eddie, I was like, the guy's here. I was like, he's not giving me the keys to my car. I was like, I just need to go because I've already missed the sale. So I'm going to have to come back to Indiana. And so Eddie takes the phone, talks to this idiot for whatever transpires. And then the guy was like, well, just, get me $20 from the bank. He was like, because they're going to kill my family. And I'm like, okay. I said, if you get that guy out of the car, I said, I will go get you your money and bring it right back to you. I said, just get him out of the car. He goes, oh, okay. So the guy gets out of the car. I get in the car. I'm rolling out. I know the guy stuffs in the back of my car. I don't care. And the last thing the guy said, he was like, you're not coming back, are you? And I was like, no, I'm not. End of story. But that's how I met this person. But I had no idea that he was just a full-blown crackhead. At the end of the day, I mean, there was just so much in my life at that time because then, Bill Warren, who was the owner of Warren Theaters, which was a big deal. So Bill, he calls me and he's like, hey, Gail, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm good, Bill. How are you? He goes, well, I just really want you to be my personal barber. And I'm like, Bill, I said, the last time I tried to cut somebody's hair, which was my son's, I almost cut his ear off. Probably not your girl. So he hangs up. And then he calls me back like 1 minute later. And he goes, you don't understand. He goes, I want you to shave my And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, the young girls I hang around with, they don't really like that. And I need somebody because you understand. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, at that time in my life, I was just kind of anything goes kind of person. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I liked Bill. He was a nice guy. I wasn't like wanting a relationship with this guy. He had a lot of fucking money. He lived in a fucking probably $3 million house. I didn't care. Cool. He gives me the code to his house, and I said, well, I'll try, Bill. I said, I'm not saying I'm going to do the best. I said, I've never done anything like this before. So I walk in. Of course, he wants to show me his gold sinks and wants to show me his German shepherds that speak German. And, I appreciate that. He shows up in his whitey tighties, which is kind of odd to me, but whatever. I mean, I just, listen, I'm just doing a job. So anyway, I'm like, okay, Bill. I was like, let's get down to it. And he's like, this razor's so cool. So I'm doing this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And, first he asked me if I needed a glass of wine. And I said, well, I just need a bottle. And I kind of got thrown back because he had some stuff going on. He goes, you probably think that's a disease or something. He goes, it's just because I'm fat and I'm sweat. And I'm like, okay. So I get it done and I'm thinking, okay, that's the last of it. And he told me he was giving me 10 movie tickets for the kids. Okay. 10 movie tickets. I'm pumped. I'm like, okay, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a lot of money at that time. I really didn't. I was working, doing what I do. I have 6 kids, yada, yada, yada. I go home. I give the tickets to Julie. I'm like, Julie, I said, Bill just gave us 10 tickets. She was like, no, Mom, he didn't. I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, there's only 9. I'm like, seriously? I went all through that. You couldn't even give me 10? I mean, they didn't know why I got the 10 tickets, or 9 tickets. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell them. But I'm just irritated, like, to no end at that point in time. I'm like, that's not cool with me. So let's go forward. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get you, because sometimes life just has to be that way. Sometimes you just have to get people. And I don't really like rolling that way. But at the end of the day, I'm going to roll that way sometime. So that crackhead dude, Keith, shows up and he's like, hey, Gail. He was like, I don't have any money. I want to go eat. And I was like, I got you. I called my Uncle Bill up. I was like, hey, you know what, Bill? I was like, my brother just flew into town from Nashville, Tennessee. I was like, but we need comped on some movie tickets and maybe a little fresh dinner or something. I got you, Gail, no problem. Dude, we ate, we drank. I got my 10 tickets, trust me. Because why are you going to do me like that? You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to shave you. Are you serious right now?
If you get a ticket, the first thing you should do is text a picture of it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. You'll be facing costly fines, risks of suspension, possible jail time, points on your license, higher insurance premiums, and a lot of bad things that they can help you to avoid. You can also find them at the link in the description below, but the Ticket Clinic is a nationwide law firm with brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they've got attorneys everywhere, and that's what's most important, because a local attorney will know exactly how the local laws work, know the people who are in charge, and get you the best outcome possible. So text a picture of your ticket to 305-305 or click the link in the description below to fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.